Okay, so this is a education session with Integrity Capital around cold calling. And today we're here with Phil Panopoulos, one of our great associates, who is going to walk us through, what does it sound like when you make a cold call and what do you say, and things like that. And so, Phil, thanks for doing this with us, and you're up in good old Utah. So why don't you just walk us through what you typically do, what you say when you're on the phone, and then we'll actually end up going into one. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I like to say is, I like a, pretty formal introduction, like, hey, this is who you are, what do you do? Who do you work with? Excuse me. So I usually like to say like, hey, John, how are you? This is Phil Panopoulos from Integrity Capital. And that's kind of how I like to lead off the call. By doing that, I'm friendly with him. Like, how are you? It's a question that he can answer really simple. Oh, I'm good. And then I use it kind of as a step to kind of go into the nuts and bolts of the script. Like, I'm good. How are you, Phil? Or I'm good. Like, what do you do? And so that's how I kind of lead into it. And each script is going to be different for who you're talking to, if it's a broker or if it's a CPA, attorney, a wealth advisor. It'll depend. But kind of just walking through it, I kind of further introduce myself and what we do. So at Integrity Capital, we're a commercial mortgage finance company nationwide. I'm here in Salt Lake City, so you can say where you're located at. And I usually like to say I specialize in this type of asset, usually what they specialize in as well. That's kind of gets their attention going forward right off the bat. We're doing the same thing. And I also like to say, I saw that you're in this niche as well. I saw that you're in this field as well. That way, it kind of shows us that, or it kind of shows them that I did a little bit of research on them. It wasn't just a total cold call. I kind of checked you out a little bit. He's interested, I'm interested. And then I kind of get to the point and say, hey, I'd love to, meet with you sometime. I'd love to swing by your office. That's the objective of the cold call. And that's something I usually like to say at the end. So I say, I'd love to swing by your office sometime to kind of discuss that. And we'll see in the call how it kind of plays out, but that's how I lay it out usually.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it sounds like, you you want to let them know real quick who you are, who you're with, why you're calling, right? It's kind of the next thing. I'm calling, ... I noticed this. I'm calling for this purpose, right? So it's pretty straight and to the point, it sounds like, just so that the person has the quick ability to respond in an appropriate fashion. So that's awesome. Well, let's give it a try. Let's make a call.
Absolutely. So the first guy I got on deck here, his name is Ryan Stewart. He's with Mountain West Commercial, which is a brokerage. Hi, Ryan. This is Phil Panopoulos from Integrity Capital. How are you? Great. Yeah, hey, I wanted to reach out to you to kind of introduce myself. I'm with Integrity Capital. We're a commercial mortgage finance company here in Salt Lake City. And I saw you specialized in retail properties. And, I'm in that niche as well on the financing side. So I thought I'd reach out and connect with you. I'd love to swing by your office sometime to kind of discuss that. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I know I'm free next Thursday, the 19th at around 2 p.m. I'm not sure. Is that too early for you? Yeah. Perfect. And you're in is it 312? Is the South Temple office? Is that correct? Perfect. I do not, but I can write it down for you real quick here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to send you one. What's a good email for you? Perfect. Got that down. Yeah, I'd absolutely send you a calendar. Hmm? Yeah, so all of the above, triple net, single tenant, multi-tenant as well. We like to do, credit tenant. It makes both of our lives easier with the credit tenant in there. But yeah, really kind of short answer to your question is kind of all of the above. Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely made it a little bit tougher with the market that we're seeing now. It really just kind of depends on both parties, and it is a loaded question, like you just mentioned. It depends on both parties, on the borrower and the property itself. So, I mean, it makes my life a little bit tougher, but we're kind of rolling with the punches with this market. It's pretty unpredictable. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, roughly around there. We had a half a point increase last Wednesday from the Fed. So we're looking at more about like a full point is what we've seen since the beginning of the year. Yeah, they are. Yeah, we're definitely due for more increases. It's tough. It's inflation's an uphill battle these days. Yeah. Well, hey Ryan, I appreciate it. Let me let you go. I'll shoot you over this calendar invite just because I got a few more things I got to get done this morning. I appreciate the conversation, and I look forward to meeting you next week. Perfect. Sounds good, Ryan. I'll talk to you. All right.
Okay, so walk us through the call. That was great. You got the appointment,
Yep.
and mission accomplished. This was not scripted, by the way, just for those of you that are listening.
Yeah.
This is live in action. So walk us through it, Phil. Great job.
Yeah, absolutely. So he was a really nice guy. Right off the bat, he's really receptive. Um, he he kind of knew, I'm sure, from the kind of he was a younger guy, fella, so kind of understood why I was calling. That's why he let me kind of say what I was about, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to meet." I went through the script. I said, "I'd love to meet you, swing by the office sometime," and he's like, "Yeah, I'd love for you to come by." And then from that point on, it's good to have a date set up in your mind or kind of jot it down, which is I had right here, in case everything goes well, like it did. So Thursday the 19th at 2 p.m. is kind of worked best for me. And so I floated him that idea, and he's like, "Yeah, that works great." Another thing too, which I came across my journey in cold calling is when you throw out the date, for example, you say, "Hey, does Thursday the 19th at 2 p.m. work for you?" You can add on after that, "Does that work for you, or is that too soon?" That way you give them the option to give you a different date. It's not just Thursday the 19th break, that's yes or no. You give them the option to say, "Oh, this day works better." So that's how that kind of led out. And then so that was the objective achieved. I got the meeting on Thursday, and he was just kind of curious. He was driving at the time, and he was like, "Hey, so like, where do you see the market going? What do you kind of deal with?" He pried a little bit more, and so kind of be prepared for that to answer any questions you might have. And
Yeah.
they're really surface level, so it's nothing too crazy. And I didn't want to say too much either, just because we're in this exercise as well. You want to leave that conversation when you see him in person.
Yeah.
You don't want to just be like, "Hey, I gotta go." Like, thanks. You want to like ease out of it. You want to have enough to talk about when we are face to face in the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So you started off with a quick introduction. So, because this person is wondering, who is this person? and why are they calling me? You answer those questions. It's Phil Panopoulos. I'm with Integrity Capital. We're a commercial mortgage finance company. How are you doing? Or do you have a minute? So just real quick, that gets the intention, and then obviously telling them why, because we don't want to play games or, kind of have silly tactics. It's just, hey, I'm calling to set up an appointment with you. I noticed you're in the same industry, which I think really connects you together to try to create some level of, connectability, so that there's a relatability there in the process. What I also noticed is that, again, you answered a couple of the questions back and forth. Whoever's listening to this will have talking points, that they'll be given, so they're not just completely cold and left in the dark, to answer some of those questions. But ultimately, the objective of the call is not to have a long conversation. It's not to go on for 10, 15 minutes. It's, hey, I'm here to make a call. And it's great because then you can just say, hey, we'll chat about that. I will have a bunch of stuff we can go through when we meet face to face. So again, you just get back to calling and doing the same thing, because the objective of the cold call is just that: get a meeting, get in front of them, get that relationship moving. So great job doing that. So let's try another one.
Absolutely. Let's see. We can call again. We can do Mr. Cade, and he is a wealth advisor. So this one could be a little bit different.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a little bit different. Alrighty. Hey, Cade, how's it going? This is Phil Panopoulos from Integrity Capital. Good, good. It's been a little bit of a busy morning, but it's been good. Yeah, hey, I wanted to call you and kind of gauge where you're at here. So I'm with Integrity Capital, and we're a commercial mortgage finance company here in Salt Lake City. And I was curious, I wanted to get an understanding of what your process looked like for someone like myself on the financing side. What your process looks like for someone like myself to be a referral source to you and your clients that might be in commercial real estate. Sure. Yeah, I'd love to swing by your office sometime to kind of meet you face to face and kind of lay out in more detail what we kind of focus on and what you focus on as well, and kind of build a relationship in that aspect. I'm sorry, you broke up there a little bit. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Mhm. Yeah, initially I would kind of stop by and kind of get to know you a little bit. And then going forward, if we like each other, kind of going forward, it's more or less, if your client has a property that they're looking at and they need financing for, it would be kind of a referral relationship in a sense. And then if there's any ways, where I can always help you out as well with getting clients, and you can kind of lay that out to me as well. And then we kind of go from there. Sure. Sure. Mhm. Sure. Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Well, how about this? Can I shoot you over, just an email just to kind of lay out who I am as well? And then, if the opportunity does arise, I'd love to kind of go from there with you. Sounds good. Yeah. What's a good email I can kind of get some information over to you? Got it. Perfect. Yeah, I'll be sure to send you some information. Sounds good, Kate. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
Right.
Walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah. So I got his number off of LinkedIn. We were messaging a while ago. I gave him a call a while ago too, and left a message. And he's in the younger side, so that's kind of where the conversation went. So he doesn't have too many clients, is what he kind of spoke to me with. He's like, I don't really have the bandwidth. I really never see that right now in my business, and I'm just trying to he's just trying to get his footing as well. Kind of what I gauged on. And he said flat out, like, hey, I see it kind of not being beneficial if you were to come by the office right now. He's like, I see, and he said, I'm still interested, if the opportunity does come, you sound like you're doing well. So, and at that point, since I didn't want to I don't want to push harder, just, hey, like, I'd love to come by Wednesday, I just kind of resorted to, hey, I'll shoot you an email. This is kind of what we're about. And if anything does come up, we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah. So different prospecting type. First one is commercial broker. The commercial brokers list the properties, sell them on behalf of clients. And so that's a good lane because they're obviously needing financing. Financial wealth planners could be a good source because they have wealthy clients that are investing, going into different projects. And so that's another strand that you can go after. So I thought you handled the call well because you said, I want to learn more about your process and how we can refer stuff to you. So what you're doing is adding value to say, how can we best serve you? So that goes with our CPIG, which is to connect, partner, give information, and then just give something as well. So I think that's a great thing. What you might want to think about also as well in the future is to go after more of those established clients, right? So it's a good lesson because we could maybe go after some of the larger clients that have the wealth and the bandwidth for those as well. So yeah, that's good. It was a good call.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't get the appointment, that's going to happen. You still have a potential relationship for the future that you're fostering now. And again, these are all planting seeds like a farmer to go for in the future. So great job. That was a great call.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do another one. Should we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see.
Tell us what you want to, who we're going to call now.
Yeah, we're going to call Steve.
Okay.
And he focuses on multifamily.
Great. Commercial broker?
Yes, commercial broker. Hey, Steve, how are you? This is Phil Panopoulos from Integrity Capital. I'm doing well, Steve. Thanks for asking. I wanted to reach out to kind of introduce myself to you. I'm with Integrity Capital, and we're a nationwide commercial mortgage finance company here in Salt Lake City. And I specialize in getting financing for multifamily properties. And I did a little bit of research. I see that you're in that kind of area as well. So I wanted to reach out and make the connection with you. I'd love to swing by your office sometime to kind of discuss that. Absolutely. I appreciate that. Yeah, if there's a way I can supplement your guys that you already have established, I'd love to shoot you over some information. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a good email I can shoot it over to? Got it. Perfect, Steve. Yeah, I'll shoot you over kind of what we're about, and if there's ever an opportunity where I can almost supplement your guys, I'd love to do so. Thanks, Steve. I'll talk to you.
Okay, walk us through that.
Yeah, so Steve is more well established as a broker. And
Mhm.
so oftentimes you'll run into brokers already having relationships since they've been in the business for so long.
Mhm.
And I can tell he knew exactly why I was calling. And he said right off the bat, yeah, I've got a number of lenders that I love to go with already. And so at that point, you still want to plant the seed. So I kind of redirect to say, hey, I totally understand that if there's an opportunity where I can complement or supplement your guys, I'd love to do so. Can I shoot you an email for what we're about? And that's how that call kind of broke down.
That's great. Yeah. So again, you introduced yourself, you walked him through who we were, you connected with him as to what we could do, and then you tried to set up the appointment, and then you got a little bit of a rebuttal. So you got to push back based on the established guy. Your response in that particular instance was, love to be a supplement for you. I'll get this information and send over. The other way too you could go, depends on how you gauge the situation, is to say, hey, you know what? We completely understand. They're probably fantastic. There might be some ways we can supplement. Could we set up a time to at least meet with you just to maybe see if there is some supplemental things? So now that may fall on deaf ears, meaning that may not go anywhere. But the key always, if you could get in front of somebody that's established like that, you don't know. Some people will change their mind when they get in front of you. And so there's different ways you can go about that. One would be just, hey, totally understand, supplement, stay in front of that person. The other one could be maybe pressing even more into that to say, hey, totally understand, we could be a supplement. We generally are for certain things. Still love to meet with you if it's possible, right? And give them the second option to say yes. You may say no, that is a possibility, but you never know. I've had both, but you just be surprised about people like, yeah, okay, let's meet, right? Because if they meet, there's something there, because there's something there. So good job. So that's a good call to go through, because that's going to happen. You're going to get pushback more times than not. I would say it's rare if you're going to run into the all-out jerk, but they're out there, and you'll get those once in a blue moon. Either way, you just have to go, okay, that hurt, but I'm going to get back on the pony. So that's good, Phil. So let's do maybe one or two more, and then so we can just kind of see the rhythm of it a little bit here too.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done good. We've got 3 for 3.
I thought we were going to be hitting some voicemails.
Yeah, that's a little rare. Yeah, let's see who else we can get on the phone. We'll do Brent. He is also a broker.
Okay.
And he's on the retail side of things.
Great.
Straight to voicemail.
Good.
Hi, Brent. This is Phil Panopoulos from Integrity Capital. We're a nationwide commercial mortgage finance company here in Salt Lake City. The reason for my call is that I focus on retail properties on the financing side, and I may have a number of loan programs to help close a deal for you a little bit easier and more effectively. I'd love to chat with you when you've got a minute. Again, this is Phil Panopoulos with Integrity Capital. My cell phone number is 708-557-3601. One more time, it is 708-557-3601. Thanks, Brent. Talk to you soon.
All right, great. So walk us through just the leaving a message. So it's you're going to do that a lot. So yeah, walk us through a little bit about the message leaving.
Yeah, so with the message, you want to keep it short and sweet as well, but you also want to still hit like who you are, why you calling, and kind of lead it as almost like an action to take for them as well. So you want to lay out similar to the call, your initial kind of script. You want to say who you are, My name is Phil. I work with Integrity Capital. What we do, I do a lot of financing on the retail side, and I also included, a little bit of the buzzwords. I may have a number of loan programs to help get a deal done more effectively and efficiently. I think I said easier in that one. You don't really want to say easier. That was kind of a soft word to pick. But
Yeah.
so you want to kind of say, hey, a little bit more effectively, we can kind of help you get a deal done. And kind of what's in it for me? Like, why are you leaving this message? Oh, you're going to help me get a deal done. Great. You have my attention. And then as well, you always want to leave your name and number, and you can always say it twice. I say my number twice now, just because it's hard to kind of scroll back on the voicemail. It's just make it easier for those guys just to write it down if you say it twice.
Yeah. So it's again, this is who I am. So I am calling. This is what I can do for you, right? Because again, you hit it really well. What's in it for them, right? Because they're not, interested about a bunch of programs. They want to know what's the benefit for me, peace of mind, easier closing, because at the end of the day, the broker wants to make sure the deal gets done because that's how they get paid, right? So, and then at the end, again, short and sweet, meaning you're not going to leave, you leave a 2-minute message, they're out, right? they don't have the attention span, the bandwidth, or the desire. So it's fast, it's in and out. And then at the end, you do a really good job of saying this is who you are, your name again, and then phone number twice. Because again, if they do have to go back, guess what they're going to do? Yeah, forget it. I'm going to delete it, right? It's too hard. And so unfortunately, that's the lazy-ish that's going to come out. So I think that's really good. It's good. You're going to get kind of the structure of a voicemail, and it will happen more often not. Would you say you get callbacks from voicemails from time to time, Phil? I mean, is it usually 10% of the time, 15% of the time? What would you say is realistic?
Yeah, I would say closer to 15% of the time. Usually 2 out of 10.
It's good.
It depends on who you're calling. There's a lot of factors to it, obviously.
Yeah.
When you can leave the message. But yeah, I would say closer to 15%.
It's good
for sure.
It's good. Yeah, so worth leaving a message for sure. So good. Let's do another one. Let's hit 1 or 2 more, and then we'll try to wrap it up.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Let me call the President of the United States. See if we can call him.
So we have here Randy, and looks like he's got a boutique brokerage in Salt Lake City, and focusing on industrial.
Great.
Got a voicemail.
Great.
Hi, Randy. This is Phil Panopoulos from Integrity Capital. We are a nationwide commercial mortgage finance company here in Salt Lake City. The reason for my call is that I focus on financing for industrial and a lot of self-storage properties as well. And I know you're in that side of the business. And so I wanted to reach out to kind of introduce myself. I'm sure I've got a number of loan programs to help get a deal closed a little more efficiently and effectively. I'd love to chat when you've got a free minute. This is Phil Panopoulos with Integrity Capital. My cell phone number is 708-557-3601. Again, it's 708-557-3601. Thanks, Randy. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, so another voicemail. Again, it's good to hear the repetition of that introduction, your name, company, right? Why it is you're calling and what the benefit is for them, and then wrap it up with name, phone number, right? So just not complicated, pretty straightforward. Always the objective is you want to get a meeting. That's That's the goal. You want to get a meeting, because I think it's important for the listener to understand the reason why the meeting is important is because you're building trust with people. And the way you build trust, it's been proven exponentially that when you physically see somebody and you're face to face in person, not Zoom, Zoom's, it's doable, we need to, but physically in person, then you start to really establish trust. The trust factor goes up exponentially because they get to see you. There's a connection that starts to happen. There's the three things we talk about: proximity, right? You're in front of them. Duration, meaning that there's time, right? And intensity, meaning that what are you doing in that time when you're physically meeting with them that will make that a productive or unproductive meeting. And so that's what you're trying to establish is trust. We're in the relationship building business. We do loans, but we're really, building relationships and adding value by offering proactive services to people at the end of the day. It just happens to be in commercial lending. So good. Let's do one more and we'll wrap it up. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Doing a great job, as always.
Thank you, Dave. His name is Orden.
Cool. Orden. I like it.
Yeah, another broker, does retail.
Okay.
Hi, Orden. How's it going? This is Phil from Integrity Capital. Yeah, hey, I'm calling because I wanted to kind of introduce myself to you. We're a commercial finance brokerage here in Salt Lake City, and I do a lot of financing for retail properties. And I saw you're in that niche as well, so I figured I'd reach out and make the connection for you. I'd love to swing. I appreciate it, Orden. Yeah, have a good one. Bye.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. So walk us through that. These are all good in my mind.
Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah. Hopefully you can kind of tell his side of things on the phone, at least
Real
kind
fast,
of my
I can
expression.
tell what happened. Go ahead.
Yeah. He was really just not about it. Pretty short. I asked him how he was. He responded like, "Why are you calling?" And so I was kind of threw me off a little bit. I started a little bit, oh man, like this guy, he's not about it, but still kind of didn't really make it to the point of the call, which I'd love to meet with you. But he just kind of said, "Hey, I've got no use for it. Have a great day." That's kind of.
Yeah. So, okay. So a couple of things, I think. Number one, this is really good because it just reminds us that we're all human and we have emotions and we feel. Nobody likes to quote unquote be rejected, right? So it's okay to feel that way. Like we don't need to try to be, a stoic. It's like, okay, that hurt a little bit. It's okay. And so that's one side of the coin, to accept that awkwardness, because we are interrupting people, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So that's good to just embrace that is going to happen, and it's okay that you feel a little bit of right. So we want people to have the authenticity to feel like that nobody likes that. It's fine. But I'm going to paint also another picture as we try to retrain the way we think about it. The other side of the coin is, if we're in the business of disqualifying people, okay, if that's the business we're in, as a practical matter, then what just happened to you was a gift, right? He's not the nicest guy on the planet, wasn't the warmest guy on the planet, didn't feel like he wanted to sort of be helpful, who knows what other reasons. But to me, that's a big win, because quickly, within literally 10, 15 seconds, you just saved yourself hours and hours of headache, right? And so that's the positive side of the coin, is somebody helped you just disqualify themselves real fast. Because then you get to move to the next person who's like a few of the other ones that were great. They were super receptive, they were engaged. Wonderful. So I think that's the other side of the coin we need to remember, is that it's okay to be in that little awkward thing, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, embracing the fact that this is a little bit awkward. That's okay. That's how we grow, is just be embracing the uncomfortableness of those weird calls, right? So I would consider that a success. This is good for you, Mr. Listener or Mrs. Listener, as you are going to go through the same thing. You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses, you're going to have great days, and you're not going to have so many great days. But I think the key is that you're consistent, you keep the message simple, you do the activities, and then ultimately the results will come as you are consistent and persistent in developing relationships with people, which just takes time. And it does take the activities in order to get to that level that you want to. And so, Phil, any parting words that you would share with people?
Yeah, I would say just the last point you said, Dave, just be consistent with it. You're going to get a lot of rejection. We saw a little bit today, but you're going to get a lot of it. And that means you're just pushing ahead, and it's a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're a winner, Phil, in my mind. So you're doing a great job. And whoever's listening, same can be for you if you just do the same thing, and it will pay off in the long run. Not the short run, but it'll pay off ultimately in